Peace be upon you and welcome grade 2 students. Today we will be working on a reading comprehension lesson entitled A Trip to the Zoo. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to 1. Respond to WH questions which elicit information about person, object, place, and time in simple sentences. 2. Enter data on a graph and comment on it or fill in a story elements chart. Don't forget to prepare your draft paper and pencil. Then get ready to start. What things do you know about zoo? A zoo is big. There are different kinds of animals. There are helpers that guide the people in a zoo. Nice answers. What things do you want to know about zoo? Are there elephants in the zoo? Who takes care of animals in the zoo? Are there candy shops in the zoo? Well, we are going to get the answers from the text, and you're going to tell me later what things will you learn about the zoo from the text. The title of the text is A Trip to the Zoo. When you hear such a title, what do you think the text is about? Great! So you think the text will talk about a trip to the zoo. Let's see. Grade 2 students were smart and behaved well. Mrs. Tom loved our class. Last spring, Mrs. Tom decided to take us to the zoo in the big city. Here are grade 2 students. Their teacher Tom loved them a lot because they were smart and polite like you. So the teacher decided to take them to the zoo. Let's continue. It was a beautiful morning. We arrived early at school. Mrs. Tom and the bus driver helped us to get into the bus. All students had seats. The bus moved at 7 in the morning. The weather was very nice. The sun was still cold. So, on the day of the trip, the sun was shining. The students arrived early to the school and got quickly into the bus by the help of the teacher and the bus driver. Then they moved at 7 o'clock in the morning. On the way, the bus stopped to get our breakfast. The bus driver helped. We ate quickly and went back to the bus. So, on their way, the students stopped at a bakery to take their breakfast. At 9 in the morning, we arrived at the zoo. There we saw the white bear. It was so big. It was eating some meat. Then we saw the camel. It was big too. After that, we saw the gray wolf. It looked scary. The gray wolf was thin. Well, when the students arrived to the zoo at 9 o'clock, the first thing they saw during their round was a big white bear eating some meat. Then they saw a big camel too. After that, they met a scary gray wolf. Mrs. Tom took us to see the elephant. It was waving its trunk. The big elephant used the trunk to get some grass from outside the cage. We also saw the monkey. It was swinging. It ran from one corner to another. It ate the bananas the keeper gave it. Also, the students saw a big elephant and a swinging monkey eating bananas. At evening, it was time to leave the zoo. The bus driver called us. Mrs. Thome asked all students to go to the bus. It was a very nice trip. I enjoyed it with my teacher and friends. Finally, at the evening, the students got back home happily. Now, are you ready for the exercises? Let's start. Read paragraph 1 carefully, then complete each of the following statements by marking the correct choice. Grade 2 students were smart and behaved well. Mrs. Thome loved our class. Last spring, Mrs. Thome decided to take us to the zoo in the big city. Sentence number 1. Grade 2 students were naughty, cute, or smart? Perfect! Grade 2 students were smart. Sentence number 2. Mrs. Thome loved, helped, or stops grade 2 students? Excellent! Mrs. Thome loved grade 2 students. Sentence number 3. Mrs. Thome wanted to take students to the zoo in the city, big city, or town? Very good! Mrs. Thome wanted to take students to the zoo in the big city. Now, read paragraph 2 to answer each of the following questions in complete sentences of your own. It was a beautiful morning. We arrived early at school. Mrs. Thome and the bus driver helped us get into the bus. All students had seats. The bus moved at 7 in the morning. The weather was very nice. The sun was still cold. Question number 1. When did the students arrive at school? Great work! Students arrived early at school. Question number 2. Who helped students get into the bus? Good job! Mrs. Thome and the bus driver helped students get into the bus. Question number 3. When did the bus move? Awesome! The bus moved at 7 in the morning. Question number 4. How was the weather that morning? Excellent! The weather was very nice that morning. After reading paragraph 3, mark each of the following statements as true or false. On the way, the bus stopped to get our breakfast. The bus driver helped. We ate quickly and went back to the bus. Sentence number 1. Grade 2 students got their breakfast on the way. Awesome! The answer is true. Sentence number 2. Nobody helped the students. Very good. The answer is false. Sentence number 3. The students were late to return to the bus. Perfect. The answer is false. Let's move now to paragraph 4. Based on your understanding of this paragraph, match each of the following. At 9 in the morning, we arrived at the zoo. There we saw the white bear. It was so big. It was eating some meat. Then We saw the camel. It was big too. After that, we saw the gray wolf. It looked scary. The gray wolf was thin. The bear was big, scary, was big and white, or was gray? Good! The bear was big and white. The wolf was big, scary, or was gray? Excellent work! The wolf was gray. The wolf looked, was big or scary? Brilliant work! The wolf looked scary. What about the camel? Yes, the camel was big. That's an amazing work. To work on this exercise, you have to move to paragraph 5 to mark the correct choice. Mrs. Tom took us to see the elephant. It was waving its trunk. The big elephant used the trunk to get some grass from outside the cage. We also saw the monkey. It was swinging. It ran from one corner to another. It ate the bananas the keeper gave it. Number 1. The elephant was on the slide, eating, or waving its trunk. Bravo! The elephant was waving its trunk. Number 2. The monkey was swinging, sliding, or jumping. Great work! The monkey was swinging. Number 3. The teacher, the driver, or the keeper gave the monkey bananas to eat. Good! The keeper gave the monkey bananas to eat. Finally, fill in the story elements chart based on your understanding to it. Let's start with the story title. The title is A Trip to the Zoo. Very good. Let's move to the story element. When did the story take place? In a spring morning. Perfect. Where did the story take place? At school and at the zoo. Excellent. Now, who are the characters in the story? 1. Grade 2 students. 2. Mrs. Tom. 3. The bus driver. Brilliant work. Well, what are the main events of the story? 1. Mrs. Tom decided to take grade 2 students to the zoo. 2. They took the bus one spring morning. 3. On their way, they stopped to take breakfast. 4. At the zoo, they saw animals and had fun. 5. At evening, they returned back happily. Awesome work! Okay. Were grade 2 students happy at the end? Grade 2 students and their teacher were happy. It was a very nice trip. Well done, my lovely students. Here is an assignment for you to work on. Fill in the last part of the KWL chart with 3 things that you have learned about a zoo. When you finish your assignment, don't forget to show me. Thank you for your effort. Stay safe.